Michael Farkas is the CEO of Car Charging, one of the companies responsible for building out the network of charging stations from Palo Alto to Dearborn, Michigan, and he joins us this morning. Michael, welcome to the program. I know that there are grand plans here for a coast-to-coast network of charging stations. Elon Musk said as much last week. Give us a sense of where you're at right now and how much farther you have to go.
We are at the beginning stages of this industry. Right now, Car Charging Group has about 1,100 charging stations throughout the United States. We're in 20 states and D.C., and we need to expand. We need millions of charging stations to go out there and support worldwide electric vehicles.
And tell us about the role that the government plays here, because it does help subsidize this infrastructure.
Correct. The government has played an important role. They've helped us build our business by giving us subsidies, tax credits. It's a necessity to build an industry, and it's a necessity to really have this industry in this country. We need electric cars. We're seeing a wealth of the entire world from India to China, and there's just not enough fuel to fuel that growth.
But what the government give it, they can take it away, and certainly a change in administration could very easily reverse that progress. What's the concern there that private industry hasn't stepped up enough if the government does withdraw?
Well, it's very interesting. Most people believe that this is a Democratic-led industry. It's not. The original programs to electrify the automobile were actually done under the Bush days. The money was earmarked by Bush and given out by Obama. But the bottom line is, it was an initial step that was necessary of having the government help us. But moving forward, I think we're going to be able to handle it on our own.
There is a scene in The Great Gatsby, not the new one, but the old one with Robert Redford and Michael Pollard, where Bruce Dern pulls up in the fancy car to the gas station of the 1920s. That's sort of what it's like now. I mean, it's a horse before the cart, cart before the horse. Where's the horse right now, and where's the cart, and which is which?
We do have to realize that this is a chicken and egg type of scenario. You need infrastructure for people to feel comfortable enough to buy these cars. And if there's no infrastructure, they don't want to buy the cars. So we're working hand in hand and working with the auto companies and realizing where these cars are being sold, and we're installing infrastructure, in those areas.
So Scarlett goes out and buys a Volt. She lives up in some 40-bedroom mansion north of New York City, and she's got it in her 8-car garage. She pulls out of the driveway. Then what? How many electric charger stations are there within 5 or 10 miles of Scarlett's mansion?
That's a good question. It's not only serving the people that have single-family homes, which is a pretty decent-sized market. Our main focus is dealing with the people in urban areas that don't have access to a single-family garage. So you could go into your Walgreens or your CVS's or your Central Parking, and go and charge your car. We're going to be in a place where you don't have to go to a gas station. You're going to have charging taking place where you live, work, or play.
In order for electric vehicles to reach critical mass, then does someone like a Zipcar need to take up electric vehicles to really bring it to someone beyond me living in my mansion 40 miles north of New York City?
The Zipcars of the world are implementing EVs into their fleets. It's happening slowly.
To the point where it's more affordable and more practical.
Correct. And you need infrastructure out there in order to do this. The biggest hole in the whole EV market is the infrastructure, being able to charge that car once you're beyond your home. Again, be it if it's a single-family home or if it's in a multi-family residential property, there's places that you have to need to charge afterwards.
A dumb question of the day. How long does it take to charge a car?
That's a great question. It depends on the car.
Is that a good question?
It's an amazing question.
I have no clue.
It's an amazing question because it's different for each car. Each car charges at different rates.
Why is it different?
Because the auto manufacturers set different standards for themselves. You have cars that charge at 3.6 kilowatt hours. You have cars that charge at 7.2. You have the Teslas that now charge at a much faster rate.
I go in to get gas, and the length to fill up the tank is enough for the children to spend a small fortune in the convenience store.
Correct.
We know that. How long does it take to charge an electric car?
Well, let's talk about Tesla's new superchargers.
I just want to know, does it take 20 minutes? Does it take 2 minutes?
It doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, it's just not, there's not a consistent charging rate for all automobiles. It's across the board. Each car manufacturer limits the amount of energy that can move from the grid to the car. And then the cars themselves limit that, and then the grid itself limits that, and the charging station limits that. So basically, you travel at the slowest range possible. So if the charging station's at a certain rate, that limits it. If the car's at a certain rate, that limits it. So there are many factors to answer that question. But what we're going to see is charging that has gone from 18 hours to charge your car to now being about 20 minutes to charge your car.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
All right, Michael Farkas, CEO of Car Charging Group, joining us this morning. Certainly, that's a big issue if you can't get your message straight on how long it'll take to charge your car. How does the industry then tell people what to do?
I think that's one of the key constraints right now.
Yeah, I want to know why young people aren't more on board with the whole electric car.
It's very simple. You could leave your car, plug it in at home, and by the time you're ready to go leave in the morning, your car is charged. You're not going to have to go somewhere to charge your car. Exactly. Wherever you're going to be, whether you're at work, home, or play, there are going to be charging stations in those areas for you to charge your car.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.